That sounds more
Yeah, to me it was
joyous.
just
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Totally.
exuberant.
Yeah.
Is the pitch okay?
I thought it was great.
It was in September 1973 when Kronos had our first rehearsal. I had, shortly before that, I'd heard on the radio, I'd heard Black Angels by George Crumb. And hearing that piece at that time changed my entire life.
When I first joined Kronos in October of 1978, Kronos did not play exclusively 20th century music. It was pretty much, 80% contemporary music. But we also played some classical works as well. After 2 years of being together, then we decided that we would only play exclusively 20th century music, which was a huge decision. After 10 years, then we decided that really we should play music that was written for us. Because at that point there were more and more pieces that were being written for Kronos, and Kronos started commissioning works too.
As Joan and Hank and John and I worked together, we began to think of ourselves as this band that, it was us against the universe. And I've always thought that's the coolest thing about being in a string quartet. It's like these 4 people playing the most intimate thoughts of composers, and the rest of the universe is just kind of has to deal with it somehow. I love it. Last October, we needed a new cellist. And for the first time, we consulted the internet. And so eventually, we invited Sonny to join Kronos. Yes, Sonny Yang has joined Kronos since May, and our first full-length concert is happening in New Haven, Saturday night. Now, I've played with Hank for 36 years, John for 35 years, Sonny for 2 months. But the level of the discourse, the kinds of things we're able to talk about in terms of what it means to play together and the body language kinds of things, it's just fabulous. I'm having the best time I could possibly imagine. One of our friends, Wu Man, the great Chinese pipa virtuoso, is joining us for the second half of our show. And we've played together with Wu Man for, I think, 22 years now. And so as we begin our 40th year, we're performing with Wu Man now for almost half of that time that we've been together. And so it's always thrilling to play with her. She's such a natural, vibrant musician. And I'm really looking forward to this concert. It feels like we're beginning a whole new chapter in our work. I remember when I was a kid and I first heard Heifetz, and I'd been trying to play the violin, and all of a sudden hearing that incredible presence and virtuosity and ease and command. That's what it felt like when I first heard Wu Man. I love love this sound. She's incredible. We have to find a way of playing music together. That's all there is to it. So I got her phone number and called.
I told my musician friends, I said, that's very strange. The guy called me, said they're from some of like Kronos quartet, and then my friend like, what? They called you? Oh wow! There's the contemporary group there. So that was the first time. I think it was 22 years ago.
She's a great performer and someone that I find has redefined her instrument and has brought really a new musical color into the world of music.
If they play something with the Chinese tradition, they have to follow me. They have to adjust the style, the way they play. Tavirali's piece influenced from a lot from Indian music. So that's also not Western again, and then also not Chinese. So we have to find middle. But that combination actually become a new musical language.
To me, the most exciting music is coming from unexpected places. The last few weeks, I've had so many amazing meetings, and I just see the future of the world of music to be incredibly inspiring and fun and deep. I mean, people are doing so many different things all at the same time, and some people are going for stratospheric type of experiences. Others are writing music that's dance music, electronic music. It's great. It's really wonderful to be a musician in 2013. Laurie Anderson has written a really astonishing work for Kronos called Landfall. It's absolutely amazing, and it's our next performance is in London.
Don't you hate it when people tell you their dreams? They say things like, I had this dream, and there was this man, and he was my father. No, wait, he was my uncle. No, wait. I think he was my father. And you say, please don't tell me your dreams. But they go on anyway. Yes, I think it was my father, and he's carrying this like a bloody severed head. And they're telling you a dream like it's a movie that you might want to see sometime.
Laurie Anderson is somebody that collects. She collects, and then she collects, and she continues to collect. And working with her on Landfall was a lot like being right inside of her imagination.
But here's the thing, most people often judge the size of places not on how big they look, but on how big they sound. So when you walk into a hotel lobby, you hear how big it is. So anyway, obviously, they wanted their lobby to sound really huge.
It took about 27 or 28 years from the very first time I met Laurie Anderson to being on stage with her performing Landfall. That's how long it took for something to be written by Laurie for Kronos.
So I made some software that made the lobby sound a lot larger than it actually was. It made the pine walls sound like marble, lots and lots and lots of echoes. Now, there are lots of ways to make things bigger, and this is one of them. You just make them sound like they're more far away. Now, often after shows, people come up to me and they say, "Wow, you look so much bigger on stage, and you're really like, I don't know, are you even 4 feet tall?" And I say, 4 feet? I'm way over 4 feet. And they say, well, maybe you used to be over 4 feet, but now, and I said, no, I'm over 4 feet tall.
And then there's a very young composer from New York City named Yuri Boguinia, and he's written a piece for our 40th anniversary that's just vibrant and engaging and full of everything that a 21-year-old composer can offer the world and nobody else can.
These long notes, the ta, if maybe they could be more connected going into the next note. So for example, the cello and then the first violin part, measure 42, when you start that long note, if it could really go into measure 44 a little more. So I wrote this piece just as as a celebration of the Kronos Quartet. And when I was writing it, I was thinking about, Kronos, obviously, time. And I was thinking about time and what it does to us as human beings, and how it just drags us and drags us and drags us. And there's this energy in time and this struggle that we as human beings don't even notice sometimes. We, in 10 years, can go by like this, 20 years. And so this piece is all about trying to hold on to the reins of this wild Pegasus, this wild horse. So it's very, very dense and very, very active, and there's really no place where you can just breathe, and it sweeps you away.
The way Kronos rehearses is pretty much the same as the first day I stepped into that room to play with them. I think it's very democratic, and I think the whole premise is that anybody can say anything at any time, and you should listen to it and you should try it out. It's the quickest thing to do.
We're having a wonderful time, and we can't wait to play in New Haven. We've got a lot of interesting music that we're bringing there, and we know that the festival is just one of the great festivals in our country. So this is terrific for us to be able to be a part of it. A favorite work written for Kronos in the last 40 years? I have to say that yesterday was one of the most amazing rehearsals that I can recall having in all of these years. We had Mariana Sadovska from Ukraine here, and there's a new quintet that she's written for us that we're playing together. She's a singer and harmonium player.
David Harrington suggested to compose a piece for Kronos Quartet, which first scared me completely because I never really have written something for string quartet. But then I think David Harrington told me, tell me about your country through the music.
It seems to me that she gets right to the heart of things. And the first time that we met, we were talking about Chernobyl and actually what happened there and what happened to the music of the people that lived there.
So it was in 1986 in Ukraine, and the Chernobyl city, where there was a nuclear station and there was big disaster, big accident, big explosion on the nuclear station, which now we call Chernobyl catastrophe. And it caused that more than 76 villages and towns around were evacuated. People left completely their life, their animals, everything what they have. And we call now this place alienation zone, death zone, where nobody is allowed anymore to live because it's contaminated.
Every piece that we play involves finding what's really meant by the notation. I mean, for example, even yesterday with Mariana Sadovska, she said she did not know how to write out what she meant. And so what she did is she sang it for us, and she told us the story behind it, and then we started exploring.
It's coming from the, eternal memory. So it's like a to make notation of songs, of traditional songs, is very difficult because there are so many sigh and so many glissando and so many ornamentic and small broken things with the voice which you cannot, there is no notation for it. And later when it appears it's like and here is more. And for me it's easier sometimes really to sing it so that they can hear what I mean than to notate it, because it's so much based on vocal music. David, you might do it till da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
What she wrote and what we ended up playing are quite, in some ways, unrelated, but what she wrote down gave us a roadmap to work from. There's a lot of imagination that goes into interpretation and discovering what lies behind the notes. And I feel that's our job. And we thrive on relating to composers of all ages, all backgrounds, many different religions and languages. And it's, I can't imagine a more fun way to spend my life than doing exactly what I'm doing, because it's I never know what might happen next in the world of music.
From Chicago, from Chicago, from Chicago, from Chicago to New York, from Chicago to New York.
Different Trains by Steve Reich is a very key recording for many reasons, actually. Kronos at that point had not really used amplification on stage. I remember distinctly we played this one concert and there was a sound guy provided by the theater who had probably never heard a string quartet before in his life. And, so ended up the whole thing was way out of balance, and it was really disheartening because here we spend all these hours on getting our balance right between ourselves, but then between also the quartet and the tape, the material that's on the playback material. And so then that's what prompted us to then say, okay, well, we should have our own sound guy.
We've found a terrific sound engineer. He started working with us, and every concert that we've played since 1988 has come through a sound system, and that is because of Different Trains. And so what began to happen is that composers began writing not only for Kronos, but for a sound system and for the possibilities that that brings. Laurie was bringing together elements of technology that we hadn't worked with before. It's still difficult for me to kind of describe what we have here. But when we go out on the stage and play together, it feels like such a kind of a large view of life and where we're at right now and technology, and it's wonderful to work with Laurie Anderson.
Nice to speak with you too, and tell all your listeners out there that the place to be on Saturday night is at the Kronos concert.